Welcome to Shaky Town. I'm Brody Hubbard. That's
I,
George,
I am.
otherwise known as Daddy.
Yeah, yeah. Daddy's hits.
Oh, it's called Daddy's Hits. I've been pronouncing it completely different.
Yes, I've noticed that. I think I didn't think it through
Oh man.
at all.
And with the recent changes to the channel of Daddy's Hits, and this is Gene George's short form, um, uh, very there's a demographic that's really into really into daddy. I think they're gonna like the new hat and glasses, man.
Yeah, so far I haven't looked at the now that I'm a big time content creator analytics. I haven't looked at the analytics yet.
Yeah.
I don't know the Zoom workplaces. Hang on, something's going on with my thing. It's throwing up gang signs at me.
Oh no.
I feel unsafe in my own home. Wait, no. No, so it's doing some updating. I can still talk. It's
Okay.
still going as far as I can tell. Anyway, that was the nicest side, wasn't it? Um, yeah, I haven't looked at the analytics yet. But you know, I posted our first clip show. Had the 10 user extravaganza.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just speed running YouTube. Finally turning my hand to video content creation.
I had been meaning to pare down my own, and we can talk about that in a minute.
Sure.
But I'm glad to see you increasing your short form content, and I do like the uniform for the channel. It reminds me of my uh previous annual jaunts to the Eagle. If you know that establishment when I'd go to Pansy Division shows.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, uh, well, I won't say anything further. We'll check it out. I'm sure we have it linked somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I literally just, this is, I don't know, man. It's something to while away the endless hours in the day.
Well, speaking of content that spends some time, did you watch Paul versus Tyson?
uh, yes. The answer to your question is yes.
Yes.
Um,
Our brief. We'll do our sports section here of the show
yeah, yeah. Well,
because I have.
I know you have thoughts. I have thoughts.
Yeah. So look,
Go ahead.
I mean, Mike Tyson is no stranger to the spectacle of professional wrestling. He was a member of Degeneration X, who then turned on Shawn Michaels in the Austin versus Michaels match of WrestleMania 14, awarding Austin the belt.
I feel like all these should be cited like court cases.
Yes, Austin v. Michaels 14.
So like
Uh,
when somebody comes into the ring, that's like an amicus brief. When someone
yeah.
like a famous person just shows up to support one or the other wrestlers, that's like an amicus brief. That's
I think Amicus Brief was the Legion of Doom's manager in Memphis wrestling.
nice. Probably.
But so I should say, in the Paul brothers, Jake and Logan are no stranger either to professional wrestling. So this was definitely, um, a spectacle. Unfortunately, professional wrestling at least tries to look real. This was a sparring match. This was not a boxing match. Both wrestlers pulled punches, and it was to show that Mike could last 8 rounds, and he was able to walk away with that, and that's okay. I
I hope
guess.
he got paid. I hope he just got a ton of money. Like that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like as long as he got a ton of money out of it, I don't. Ultimately, I mean, I have thoughts, but ultimately, you know, he's the one who's got to pay his bills.
His restitution to his former victims.
Yeah, there's that.
Probably part of that. I don't know for sure
There's that.
how that works.
Yeah.
I want to like Mike, but there are
Yeah,
unforgivable parts of
yeah. No, definitely, no, definitely. I mean, he like a lot of athletes are problematic or have problematic things in their past. He at least, I mean, at least he went to jail for his crime.
it. Mhm.
At least one of his crimes. But yeah, I'm kind of I don't. My, boxing is one of the boxing and baseball were the two sports that I grew up watching as a child. And I don't know, we may have spoken about this sometime in misty past, but my grandfather was a prize fighter. My grandfather, when he was younger, fought. I think his first fights, he told me his first fights were on a cattle boat coming over from England, deadheading over from England to Canada when he emigrated. And he would fight prize fights with the other crew members because there were they were deadheading this cattle boat. There was nothing on there, so they would had nothing to do but beat each other up. So boxing, I grew up with boxing, and I watched a lot of boxing growing up, and so that's my background. It's one of the few sports that I feel comfortable like looking at and speaking about, and man, that the number of times Paul dropped his shoulder, like fully dropped his shoulder, like I mean, that's the first time I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. The second time I saw that, I'm like, oh, Tyson is intentionally not cold cocking him because, you know, you don't need to be, you know, Jake LaMotta or to know you cover your face, right?
Right.
You cover the button, and that's where you do all your work from, is from here, and doing this fully. That's like you
Dropping the
might as well.
shoulder.
Yeah, you might as well just dropping the shoulder. I'm sorry, we forget we're on video and audio. Dropping the shoulder is it's tantamount to just you might as well just put your hands down and stand there and stick your chin out. And after, like I said, after the first time, okay, maybe you don't have the measure of the guy, and but it's a tick with him. And I can't remember how many times I saw him do it. At least two, probably four, but enough that I was like, me, not a boxer, would know that you need to punch him hard in the face when he does that. As soon as you see that shoulder drop, as soon as you see, and it's like his arm fully drops. Like he can't, might be able to get one fist up to block, but it was like totally like that's when I realized, the fix is in. Like
Yeah.
this is just hype. This
Yeah.
is there's nothing here.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it. I I didn't watch the undercards, so I can't really comment on that. I just fast forwarded to the fight, and it was 2-minute rounds, whatever. But there were just a couple points where he had the button right there, and he could have pushed the button. Tyson could have pushed the button.
Yeah. Well, in better sports news, I'm happy to say that my town, my local state, has a G League team now. So G League is the developmental league for the NBA. It's kind of like the feeder system, the farm team. And we now have the Valley Suns, not our first G League team, but this is a new incarnation, owned by the same group that owns Phoenix Mercury and Phoenix Suns. And my son and I got to go to the home opener at the Mullet Arena. It's a brand new building built by ASU. I think ASU has hockey there. So I think it's only been up the last couple of years, but it's a nice, intimate venue as far as um, every seat in the house is great. We had gotten tickets as a part of a promotion from Goodwill. We donated a bag of clothes, and where we were just on the sideline there behind the net, and Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
Great players. You can see that it's something I think we've talked about this before. So my wife has said that it's hard for her to watch NBA because it seems she thinks it seems so polished. She thinks it's professional wrestling. She's like, she prefers like high school level, college level, maybe. Um, so this it was rough enough that it was like, oh, it's interesting. It could go either way, but like skilled enough. These guys are right on the cusp of going up to NBA. And in one case, Ty Washington Jr. What a name, Ty Washington Jr.
Tyrell Smoochie Wallace.
My son's new favorite player. Um,
My
he
favorite, frankly, my favorite player now.
he did great, and he got called up to the Suns like for kind of like an injury reserve thing. They have
Oh,
some
nice.
players right now, so
Yeah.
Ty's played some games for the Suns and hit like 3-pointers from long distances and stuff. And I would not be surprised to see him on the main roster there. But it was fun. They played the Stockton Kings, I believe. Um, and they, they'll have more games coming up. But yeah, it was great. Festivities. Greeted by the Phoenix Suns cheerleaders. That's always nice. It was puzzling for my son to walk up and see this row of pretty ladies like, hi. He's like, what?
I, I think that's appropriate though, as opposed to if he was just like totally Mr. Like, so what are you girls doing after the game?
Yeah, right. Which is what I would have been like at his age, or
Exactly.
even
Exactly.
younger.
Exactly.
To my detriment over the years, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, and like giving away free basketballs, and we didn't sample any of the food. We didn't really have time, but they had like a party going on the the entryway there, and got to meet the. Have I told you about the mascot?
No, no.
His name is Ray. He is a monster from the sun.
He's a Ray. He's one
Yeah,
of the sun's rays. I
yeah,
get it now.
yeah. He my daughter says he looks like an orange grimace.
Oh, so he's got a kind of gritty thing going?
Yeah. But you have like Scorch the dinosaur. I think Scorch is a dinosaur for the Mercury. Very famous Phoenix Suns gorilla.
Sure.
And now Ray.
Because when I think of Phoenix, I think of tropical dwelling large primates.
Yes.
I can't, I can't picture Phoenix without seeing its families of wild gorillas wandering the streets,
Yes.
living off of cactus fruit.
Well, we have an interesting history of mascots. We've talked about Scottsdale Community College, right?
Maybe we did. I don't
And
recall.
this became more nationally famous thanks to Bill Hader, who was at
That's
SEC. And I'm
nice.
still not sure if him and I were at SEC at the same time. I think I left the film program and left that school as he was coming in, because he ended up in class with somebody I went to high school with, and they ended up making a bunch of stuff together. And that guy went on to make movies and like episodes of Broad City and stuff like that. But he
And
talked
Bill
on.
Hader, who's heard of that guy?
Well, when he was on Conan or whatever, he was talking about no, maybe it was on David Spade's show, because I think David Spade also went to SEC, the home of
Oh,
the Fighting Artichokes. It was a mascot, if I remember correctly, that was chosen in protest of sports funding over academic funding at the school.
nice.
They're like, well, we'll just be an artichoke then. So, do you have any favorite mascots?
We may have talked about this. The Lansing AAA ball team, AAA or AA, I can't remember, is the Lansing Lugnuts,
Oh, okay.
and their catchphrases go nuts,
Love
and
it.
it is a lug nut. Lansing, Michigan, famously one of the made back Rust Belt car producing towns, so it's not too far, not too far out of spec for them, but yeah, the Lansing Lugnut's probably my favorite. And it's literally, and frankly, now that I think about it, I don't think he's a lug nut at all. He's a bolt.
Hmm.
So there might be some chicanery going on. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I
Yeah,
like
Lansing Lugnuts.
I like for the G League has the Indiana Mad Ants. I think that's a good name.
AUNT or ANT?
Oh man.
If they're just, wouldn't it be great if it was AUNT and it was just like three people in mascot costumes, like waggling their fingers at people? That would be the best. I presume it's the dumb kind.
The insects, yeah.
Yes, yeah, stupid insects. what do I? What do I? I don't have anything against insects unless they're in my pantry. Yeah, no, Lansing Lugnut's probably my favorite. Yeah, I mean, well, we talked about Gritty. Gritty, I mean, he's big time, but I love the Gritty. Gritty is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if he's a fake Gritty, if Ray is a fake Gritty, man, I don't know. I don't know.
No, 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 no. Just just resemblance.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Um, there's going to be some, I think, cool basketball mascots for Unrivaled. So Unrivaled's like the new league that the some WNBA players, including Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, I believe is the other one, started. And so they have these clubs. It's going to be, I think, 3x3, 3v3
Yeah,
teams. And
three on three, man. Three on
yeah,
three.
today they announced like all the teams and the coach. So like they had all the coaches. One of them's Teresa Witherspoon, fresh off the Chicago Sky, and like they all chose. They put these players in pods, and then they assign players to each team to try to make it evened up, and then like random draw of which coach which gets which team. And so
Huh.
Phantom is the one I liked just off the mascots, like a ghost, but Brittany Griner.
Is there nobody? No, is it a mascot or is there? It's just nothing. There's nothing there, and that would be awesome if there if the Phantom was a completely invisible mascot.
No, it's like a ghost. It's a
Okay,
ghost. It's a phantom. It's a specter.
boo. No, it should be like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome your Phantom, and then it's just nothing, and like they play music. The announcer has to describe, oh, what a handstand from our Phantom.
That I love the invisible mascot idea.
Yeah,
But Brittany Griner ended up on that team, and so I was going to root for them anyway because I like the colors. It's like black and gray, and but BG's my probably my favorite, one of my favorite Mercury. So,
sure, sure.
but some interesting pairings on that if you know WNBA, like to see different players from different teams now playing together on these clubs. It'll be interesting, I think.
Yeah, well, the randomness kind of sounds interesting too. The
Yeah,
shuffly bit sounds interesting.
yeah, absolutely.
Because that's kind of, I mean, that's kind of, I mean, half of the fun of people have with sports in general, professional and organized sports in general, team sports, is the what ifs and well, I wouldn't have traded for that person, and I wouldn't do that. And I mean, famously, when the Dodgers got Otani, I was like, that guy is not worth $70 trillion, and then that guy is completely worth $70 trillion. Like he's not even doing literally not even doing half the stuff they hired him to do, and he is you know, like one of the best players ever to play the game. So I'm like, dude, if that guy can pitch too, like, okay, like I get it, but yeah, the the mix and match, who's better, putting together a team, fantasy baseball, fantasy football, that's half the fun for a lot of people. And I think it's interesting if you're putting people into the mix and the coach too. Like, you're
Yeah.
going to get these two people. How do you use them? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a fun off-season event. I think all the games are in Miami, and then WNBA is going to look a lot different when they get back from their hiatus because they're going to have a new team, the Golden State Valkyries, and half the coaches have been fired, and they're like recruiting all these college women's basketball college, you know,
Yeah,
college basketball coaches.
collegiate coaches.
Yeah, they're bringing them up to now coach these WNBA teams, or like assistant coaches are becoming coaches and stuff.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
you're kind of watching where everybody lands, and you know, uh, the Valkyries are going to draft from. I think we talked about this. They get to pick one player from each existing team.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah,
like,
that's that. I do find, like I said, like the random thing. I do find it interesting how that tends to shake out.
yeah, yeah. So we've talked more about sports on this episode of Shaky Town than all previous
I
episodes combined.
100%,
But
1,000%.
it's what's been going on here with
It's
me.
it's what's been going on, frankly, that I want to talk about.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Everything else just is like hot, sweaty balls on my face.
Oh God,
Unfun.
yeah.
Well, some people might like that, but I don't. I'm gonna go on record. Yeah, yeah, terrible. Everything's
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah, so
Well, I have one more fun thing I could talk about before we
sure.
can some
Get into the
trash.
terrible.
Did we ever talk about Wallace and Ladmo? Do you
Fun.
remember? We might have at some
Maybe. You know, my brain's like cheese, so no.
point.
Just
So
say no. I'll say no.
okay.
What's up?
So Wallace and Ladmo was like one of the longest running children's shows in television history, based in Arizona. It's 70 years old now. I mean, it hasn't been on the air for I think 35
For
years.
68 years.
Like Ladmo passed away in 94. I met Wallace before he passed away in 2014, 2010. There was a third man on the show, Pat McMahon, who played all the other like little characters that would come visit Wallace and Ladmo. Like he was a snooty brat named Gerald. He was a superhero named Captain Boffo. No, Captain Super. He was a clown named Boffo, and they were all like parodies of these children's
Yeah,
stuff
sure.
characters. Like Captain Super would come on and like he'd be like trying to like raise money for the Captain Super Fund, which was really just going in his pocket. And Boffo the clown, like I don't think I'm trying to remember if his thing was that he really didn't like kids. Aunt Maud would come on. Aunt Maud was like a mad aunt kind of character.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of the famous Mad Ants.
Yeah, yeah. Like she told a fairy tale once that ended with like the princess, like, starting a feminist uprising and like she put her fist in the air. Like it was like funny and it was like definitely humor for the grown-ups to appreciate, but not in the obnoxious Tiny Toons way.
Yeah, not in the Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to.
Um, so Pat McMahon is still with us. He's 89. And there's a Wallace and Ladmo fan club and a Wallace and Ladmo lunch that they're doing on Fridays at Malcalpines, the soda. What do you call those places?
Soda fountains.
Soda fountain and diner kind of place in
Yeah.
downtown Phoenix. I got to take my daughter there, and we got to say hey to Pat McMahon
Nice.
and Dan Horn, who was a ventriloquist on the show, and is performed. I think he's done like uh, improv, like the comedy club, right? That's a chain
Yeah.
of comedy clubs. The Improv.
Yeah, sure.
I know he's like gone up those, over the years, like televised ventriloquist spots and things like that. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, we got a little just a piece of television history and getting to you know introduce my daughter to that. I've said this about like going to the horror conventions and things like that. It's cool that like my son got to meet Sid Haig before he passed away, and
Yeah, I mean, I got to meet Stymie, the original, or from the original cast of Little Rascals, like when I
yeah,
was, I don't know, 3 or 4, and I still remember it because I used to watch Little Rascals. They used to rerun those all the time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was cool. I mean, it was super cool. And my grandfather and I ran into Mo Howard at a deli when I was, you know, I think Mo died in like 75 or 6, so I was like 5 years old or something. Same thing. As like most children, especially little boys, like little Rascals and Three Stooges were kind of the staples of syndicated television when I was a kid.
for sure, for sure. I still talk about, I know I've talked on this show about us meeting all the surviving Wonka kids from the first movie. Augustus Gloop no longer with us, and then after we met everybody else, Violet Beauregard, that actress, Denise Nickerson passed away.
Well,
Uh,
Augustus Gloop, he is a big fat lazy nincompoop.
oh goodness.
So that's at least, hey, that's just what the Oompa Loompas were telling.
Right, it's the word on the street.
Word on the street from Huggy Loompa.
Oh man, I can imagine the outfit. I can imagine the hat.
Yeah, totally. The leather, the like pleather jacket, and like the big, you know, what do you call it? Newsboy, the giant oversized newsboy cap. Word, word on the street is, da, 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 da. And then they sing it as a little song. If you're looking for heroin to go to the warehouse, da, da, like the Oompa Loompas, Doompa Dee Doo.
Is that why I was never like hip to drugs when I was growing up in school? Because I thought like just all the kids were hiding it from me. I just didn't know the drug Oompa Loompas.
Well, no, that was Huggy Loompa telling Starsky Loompa and Hutch Loompa to
Oh,
go raid the warehouse if they're looking for the people that are dealing smack.
got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. See, that's the thing is you got to know who to slip a $5 bill to,
Yeah.
so that they give you the scoop.
Yeah.
especially as
It might be that I was never looking for it because
Yeah,
I was like definitively a straight edge kid.
yeah.
And much like other straight edge kids, I turned 21 and then turned to the drink. But
The
uh,
demon rum.
besides, maybe some smoking of some tobacco and maybe other products, if my children are,
Wacky tobacco.
I
Wacky.
will comment on that. Like I never saw or was offered the quote unquote hard stuff, and it might be just that I wasn't cool enough, but like to think that I was in like the downtown Phoenix, hipster, what some might call the indie sleaze scene for long enough, and like and Los Angeles and certainly parties after hours. I'm just shocked I never saw it and never was offered it. Oh, you know what?
Wait a minute. Now so many things make
Now
sense.
some things are making sense about those people huddling in the bathroom and rubbing their noses. No, there's like
Wah,
one
wah.
there's one party at a neighbor's that I can't comment on because I don't want to, I don't know the statute of limit, but like now I think of it now and I'm realizing, oh yeah. Oh yeah. There was times. Now I'm remembering. And there was once a thing in Jerome. I don't know if you know Jerome, Arizona. It's a mountain
I
town.
know of Jerome.
Um, and now I'm remembering, hey, we have this up here if you want to come. Okay, so to be fair to all the trashy people that I don't hang out with anymore, yes, I guess I was offered and just declined.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I never saw it. I never saw it in front of me. It was never like presented.
Growing up. This is pre-crack. Growing up in Vegas, I when I was I don't know, early teenager, uh, the little
Oh, okay.
cocaine vials
Yeah.
that I knew from the Miami Vices and things. I've seen multiples of those, but
Yeah.
never. Frankly, I mean, I don't know if my straight edge aura just like repelled everyone, because I was offered pot when I was really young,
Yeah.
and I was like no, and from that point on, just not a thing,
Yeah.
not a thing. I know the people that I hung out with were not that crowd,
Yeah.
so I was kind of insulated from all that,
Yeah.
until I was much older. So yeah.
Something else I want to talk about, speaking of addictive things,
Mhm.
social media.
Sure.
We had some interesting things happen over the last week or so. Um, so I don't know if I want to talk about this. I I'll just say, I just want to state for the record. So I've been involved in events and things, over the years, and
Sure.
I've had comings and goings, fallings out, and I'm happy to say Shaky Town Radio is one thing, that I think just because it's based on you and I being friends and being friends when we're not doing this,
Yeah.
um, that has even with the 10-year hiatus,
Yeah.
it's
We
stayed.
didn't take that hiatus because we hated each other.
No, 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 no. No. So, but yeah, I figured out this we'll just call it a local outfit. That's all I want to say about it. Uh,
Sure.
that I was associated with, and it's not Phoenix Zine Fest. I'll say that because I love Phoenix Zine Fest. I just haven't been involved in it as an organizer since the pandemic, honestly. Like it kind of like paused and it started up again, but I was like, I live so far away now, and I'm just involved with other things, and was kind of tired of organizing events after several years of organizing events. So love those people, love that event, and I still go as a spectator. And anyway, but a local outfit that I was affiliated with, patronized, and um, uh, was in talks to do an event with, like, just kind of like ghosted me and like didn't like announced an event that I was supposed to be a part of, then I wasn't on the lineup. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Wow. What's up?
Yeah. And it's
Weird.
not the first time something like that has happened in my history. And there's usually been some sort of, drama behind it. And I'm too old for that drama now. Was probably too old at the time. But but yeah, they figured out like they unfollowed me and unfriended me on social media. And it's like,
Wow. That's kind of the nuclear option. I don't. That's
yeah.
weird, man.
Yeah. And I said something online about it, and the people who know, and I'm putting it here for anybody who missed it.
Mm.
Like, I guess the organization itself has split up in
Oh.
two things now, but it's like you both ghosted me before that split, so
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
taking sides. I'm not joining
It
up
wasn't like we
either
hate
endeavor.
Brody. We're okay with Brody. Oh, this is a schism we can't manage.
Like, I just think it's like people being weird and
Yeah. Who
fighting with
knows?
themselves. So that's to say, like I'm still available to host and talk on podcasts and do that. But I am winding down. Like, I have articles that still come out. I still want to do this show and do some video of the damned stuff. That's been still fun every once in a while. But like, I don't know. So in trying to kind of figure out where I'm at creatively, professionally, you know, in assessing social media, Gene, it seems like everybody that we know is moving off of the Twitter, the X, and onto Bluesky. And so in the
Yes.
last couple minutes here, I just want to know what your thoughts on that change and on that certain platform is.
Well, I think like a the salton sea as it dries up, it becomes more concentrated, saline, and toxic. I think it's really just that. I've had a Blue Sky account for I don't know, like a year and a half. I used one of the bridged apps to follow people that I follow on Twitter. Uh, and it's funny because all of these people that I followed, like when I got the app, who had Blue Sky accounts, are now following me back. So I know they're coming in and being like, oh yeah, there's Gene from Twitter, and so I'm getting a lot of follow backs from the people that I followed like a year ago, who are now setting up shop. Um, I mean, my Twitter presence is highly curated and managed with ad blocks, and I don't use the phone app because it can't block ads and things. So a lot of the stuff on Twitter that is okay, let me separate it out. I have a much more Twitter-like experience than an X-like experience. I have been on the phone app and I've seen how horrible it is. When you're being served stuff that you don't want, like crazy ass ads and and garbage people saying garbage things about garbage topics, like 100%. I mean, I haven't the only thing I haven't done is nuke my whatever 37,000 tweets from 2008 on, because I can't figure out a way to do it without me having to pay attention to it. If
Yeah.
I could, if I could, if I could, Acme Dynamite all of them and be done with them, I would totally do that. So I get it. I mean, just hearing what people say and seeing the few bits and pieces, behind the X behind the curtain of Twitter that I have, again, I've gone to great lengths to block, to to not have to mute some people, to block some people, and so my Twitter experience is still kind of a Twitter experience. Everything else behind the scenes is just there's a crust and there's a rot underneath, and Elon Musk is a damn fool, and and you know, and he's a dangerous idiot. And that's just reflected in everybody kind of saying, oh, yeah, this guy is not, a very stable genius billionaire. He's a cartoonish supervillain and a buffoon. And, so yeah, I totally get it. I mean, I feel like it's not surprising given where we are right now that people are like, I've got to do something about this. Um, but the best part of the Bluesky migration so far, the Twitter migration to Bluesky, is um, watching the assholes try and set up shop, and
Yeah.
getting firmly drubbed by the folks that are on there. Bluesky, that's the thing, is Bluesky was a pretty queer friendly space, trans friendly space. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of love for the marginalized, and I follow a lot of people on there that I'll take a baseball bat and nobble some Nazis for them, so watching that, the way Bluesky's moderated is chef's kiss. Is I posted something on there the other day that it's a gif from Parks and Rec where Nick Offerman, Ron Swanson's character, is given a circular desk and he's sitting in a swivel chair, and this woman is like trying to talk to him, and he's just swiveling the chair so that she can't see his face, and is just he does that, and it's a great it that's what Bluesky is to me. The assholes that come in, the Nazis that come in, the agitators for hate, like, you can block them, and there's huge block lists. Block crypto bros, block all of these, and it's an echo chamber, and it's like, yeah, sure, it's an echo chamber. Just like if I go to a church or a concert or a restaurant and someone is lighting a pile of hot garbage in that space, I am going to hope that people are going to shove them out of that space and not give them the time of day, because that's basically what it is. At the surface, X is that huge garbage fire, and it is, it's terrible. Whereas Bluesky is a much more curated place, and that's where I'm with it.
I have to say that a Bluesky has been great for finding other writers and other writers finding me. I won't call this person out, but a very renowned Arizona, like longtime known in journalism person, like followed me. I didn't find them; they found me first. It's like, whoa.
Cool.
So that was kind of a nice little, like, somebody I've been reading since I was a child. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, oh, this prominent, Arizona person involved in journalism who I don't know personally. We're not family friends. Just I know their work and they followed me. So it's good that I'm being added on lists of decent people to follow. So now I'm just like, okay, I feel like I have to do something now. So I've been kind of assessing, like, what am I doing? Like, I know
Right.
I know I'm doing Shaky Town, because Shaky Town, like, is honestly where I feel the most comfortable, and like I feel like the most like myself. Um, but yeah, it's been fun writing for some other outlets, and it's been fun hosting, like, the shows on Morbidly Beautiful Network. But um, yeah, so we'll see. we'll see what I get up to, the next couple months. But I feel like Blue Sky will be a better place to kind of help organize
Yeah,
that.
I think it's it's just as I was saying before, it's a better experience at the moment because it's not controlled by a madman. Ultimately, is that's really what it comes down to. Is you know, as more stuff comes out about how dipshit's been goosing the algorithm, to project garbage thought, like it's just a lot easier to deal with. And again, like you follow good people and fun people and whatever. It's a lot more like Twitter in the old days than something else. But I think you brought up a really good point about what social media has become ubiquitous, but what have you done for me lately? I mean, what's the end goal? What's the end state of what do you want to get out of it? And it's like you say, this is a fun conversation, with a good friend of mine, and that's I don't care if people listen in on it. It's just a good thing to have, and fun conversations with people online are their own reward. But when it becomes troubling and tiresome, obviously you need to reassess it. You know, yeah. I mean, and I'm not. And again, I'm not leveraging these things for particular. I mean, we joked about my new YouTube thing, but even that, it's like it would be hilarious. It would be hilarious if it took off. It would be hilarious if it did something other than just me doing garbage, on the interwebs. It's already done better than most of the things I've ever done. But I'm doing it because I think it's funny. I'm doing it because I like it, as opposed to I'm going to be. Both of my kids have been like, Dad, you're going to be. My daughter said, I showed your videos to my friends, and they say you're iconic, and I'm like, do they? like that's not what I'm going for. I'm just doing a stupid thing. You know, the part that bothers me, and we didn't talk about this at the beginning. The part that bothers me is apparently in order to get into the guts of the YouTube, you can't just post shorts. There's a limit which I didn't know because this is the first time I've ever touched the creator side of it. But you have to have hours of like regular video views and not just shorts, which makes sense because I guess that's where they get their ad revenue from. But I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is what I want to do. If I'm going to do something for 20 minutes, a half hour, an hour, this is what I want to do. I don't want to. I don't want to like try and shoehorn in something, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've covered it. I mean, we covered everything we had on our list of things to cover.
Yeah, that isn't horrible.
Right, 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 right.
That's the thing is we have hours and hours. Maybe that's what we need. We need to launch the second channel for just hand wringing, you know.
Shaky Town hand wringing hour.
Yeah, exactly.
There's your long form video for YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it would be an easy thing to do.
Yeah. I will share that Trump has appointed Linda McMahon as the Secretary, Department of Education, to which my son asked, does that mean that his school will be forced to teach pile drivers in the classroom?
Awesome.
She is, that does make, I think, two administration members that have taken Stone Cold Stunners.
Yeah.
I think that we know of.
That we know of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows what's in that Matt Gaetz investigation?
Right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah. That see, the implications of all this buffoonery are absolutely mortifying, but on the face of it, I really do wonder if in those those meetings of the transition team, are people just floating names to see if he'll do it? Like to see if he'll bite? Like
Yeah.
if it's starting to feel like someone's like,
Right.
hey, say Matt Gates for AG. Say it. No, say it. I'll give you $100 if you say Matt Gates for AG right now, where you can hear it. Now, say it. It really does feel like they're just like, what's the stupidest choice we could make? And it's like, who would make a great Secretary of Defense? You know that guy on Fox News you really like? Yeah, I think he was in the military. He should be able to do it. Like all of these people are like, to quote John Ralphia from Parks and Rec, the worst. It's like if you couldn't pick worse people. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Linda McMahon at least has had a legitimate political career apart from her, WWE on screen and behind the scenes work. Like, she's actually like done stuff for Trump campaign, his previous administration, local politics. Like she's probably like the most legit of who he's mentioned so far, and that's not saying much, but
yeah, no, totally. But yeah, dude, not gonna have press conferences, gonna have promos. Yeah. Anyway, but like I said, it's a clown car. It's a clown car, but so are the literal Nazis. It's like Himmler was a failed chicken farmer. Goering was, a formerly decorated military veteran who lapsed into addiction and gluttony. I mean, they were all nutbags and clowns.
yeah.
And yet here we are, with a country that that is elected nutbag and he is filling his positions with clowns.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, well, we talked about something horrible. There we go. This is a good place to end it. It's a good place to end it.
I think so. We'll have more good news next episode, I'm sure.
Right. I'm sure it's going to get better, right? Oh.
If we don't chat with you before Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. It's late this year, isn't it?
Yeah. Right at the end of the month.
Yeah.
It'll be the 28th.
Closest to my birthday as it can get.
Yes. Oh yeah. And happy birthday, Gene George.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
We'll talk to each other, and we'll talk to you, the Shaky Town audience, soon.
Yeah. All right. Is this it?
Yeah. Wave goodbye. We are back on the YouTube channel. We are back in the podcast feed, and we are also on social media on X and on Instagram at Shaky Town Radio. There's a Bluesky as well, so check that out and read up all on the archives at shakytownradio.com.